Welcome to Deep Dive. This is a new series I'm creating with the purpose of breaking down any and all topics Counter-Strike related. If you have any suggestions on topics you'd like me to discuss, go ahead and leave me a comment down below. I make sure to read every single one. To any of those who don't know who I am, please allow me a quick introduction. Hi, my name is John. I go by the alias DJ. I've been playing CS for a very, very long time. I began competing at higher levels in North America sometime around 2017, so in other words, I'm old. I've played for teams such as Party Astronauts and EG White. I've attended a few ESL Pro Leagues, although with limited results. If you want to know more about my career or what I've accomplished, I'm going to go ahead and link my Wikipedia in the description down below. I'm definitely not the most accomplished NA player, and I've yet to reach my personal goals in CS, but I feel I've put enough hours into the game to justify sharing my knowledge and expertise with all of you. The goal I'm hoping to achieve by creating videos like this are to hopefully elevate not only my region, but any up-and-comers who don't have the luxury of playing with players who can guide them in a way that I received when I was younger. One of the first topics I'll be diving into is anchoring B bombsite on Mirage. What you can expect to learn from this video are fundamental principles of playing as an anchor, and these things easily translate between maps. I'll be talking about how you should be starting your rounds, what proper utility usage looks like, how and when you should be rotating, when you should be gathering information, or when you need to retake map control. I'll be sure to mention a few setups and protocols towards the end of the video that you'll be able to reproduce and easily implement into your game. Being a dedicated solo site player, as we all know, is not too fun of a job, but it can be one of the most incredibly rewarding when well done. There's an immense feeling of satisfaction when you become a reliable anchor and lock down your site consistently. Consider taking on the role if you're comfortable working solo majority of the time. If you'll be alright working with limited direction, and you must be someone who has the required amount of patience to deal with low action rounds regularly. We've all seen the meme of a CT jumping upper B. The downside to being an anchor, as is with any bitch role within a team, is that if the enemy isn't coming to you, your stats are guaranteed to suffer. It's also incredibly apparent when the anchor isn't doing particularly well, or playing in a way that's detrimental to the team. As is with any CS player, you have to have the self-awareness to adjust your mentality, positions, setups, and starts based off how well the enemy is reading you. You also have to have a good level of communication with your site partner or your fastest rotator. The goal of an anchor should be to hard lock down their site, but of course that's not always achievable given you could be on the receiving end of 10 flashbangs, 5 smokes, 5 mollies, and 5 guys. But there's still plenty to accomplish even in this situation. At best, you're getting an ace, and at worst, you're doing enough with your util to stall the enemy from advancing into the site and allow for rotations to come in. The middle ground here and what is expected of you the majority of the time is to get your kill and secure damage on any other enemies. It's unrealistic to expect much more out of an anchor, and this is the key to understand. When it comes to starting your rounds, economy always has to be taken into account. Talking pistol rounds, as the anchor, playing for information or to block with nades is important. Take this Aleksib round for example. After spotting an enemy, he feels it's necessary to drop his smoke, and with a planned escape route and a nicely timed flash, he's able to do his job of getting his one kill and manages to play for more time. There's even a chance at a second kill, but at this point he's done exactly what's expected of him. When it comes to anti-ecos, it's important to consider if the enemy can purchase rifles or not. This should give you a good idea of how to use your util early in a round. Tees with limited buying power become more predictable, as in they're more likely to contact or explode onto your site. This makes the amount of time that your nade usage buys you that much more valuable, mainly to allow for rotations to happen. When we talk about gun rounds, we have to understand that the starts you use should reliably change round by round. When we're isolated and no fast rotation is in play, denying any instant site hits are a great use of utility. Consider how Aleksib starts this round. He'll throw a standard pre-molly, but he also wants to smoke before the T's could possibly extinguish it and get through the doorway. Also, by jumping on top of Van early, he guarantees that he's fighting any enemies running directly through a smoke and also a big choke point. Doing all this gives his teammates enough time to complete their aggression in middle before they feel like they have to rotate to the weak site. Take a look at the difference in starts on this gun round. This might seem like a small change, but Aleksib has successfully conditioned his enemies to assume his escape path due to the way he's used his utility in previous rounds. This change in timing and the smoke he throws actually nets him a free kill on Kerrigan, who isn't ready for the engagement to happen on top of Van. Being in a 2 vs 5 situation, it's necessary for a duel like this to happen. Your only way back into a round like this is to deny any lurk attempts on your side and rotate as soon as possible. Notice the lack of hesitation for Aleksib when moving through the vent and into jungle. This is mainly because in order for him to win this round, Aleksib knows he's got to frag out and maybe bait for his teammate A-ramp to make his play. Typically, mid-round situations is where most inexperienced players make mistakes. This is usually due to poor utility usage, positioning, or a lack of initiative. If we go back to this previous round, it offers us a perfect example of a mid-round situation where Aleksib gathers crucial information while simultaneously becoming the bait for his rotator. Navi relinquishes middle control, which is what prompts Aleksib to push up cat for some info. During this time, Wonderful to safely insert himself onto the site. This is a great example of a late round bait setup, as once spot a cat, Aleksib is going to correctly assume that they won't be expecting his teammate already hiding. The second thing to note here is the amount of time that he buys for his next rotation to come in. Aleksib does a great job of staying disciplined here and maintaining the man advantage. In situations like these, all of us have felt the urge to overpeak and go for those extra 1 to 2 eco frags. But this right here is a perfect example of how a minor sacrifice, like not getting hungry for ecos, leads his team to building up their economy that much more. Also consider that if he too died going for a kill on site, what was a 4v2 now becomes 5 times harder as a 2v2. Watch how Aleksib manages to secure his team a few kills and also 2 incredibly valuable rifles to save. I'm showcasing this round specifically to highlight that just because you're the B anchor, it doesn't mean that you can't get involved map-wide. Eco rounds are the kind of rounds to shake things up and add a little flair into the mix. And even though there may be a low % chance of winning the round, any grenades wasted, frags secured, guns tossed out are going to be a direct benefit to the economy game, which is something that has to be considered at pretty much all times. Controlling the economy is a surefire way to take control of a game. This round will highlight that when calculated, getting involved in other parts of the map can be done. You should be throwing rounds like this into your games once you've got a solid read of how the other team likes to approach your site. Based on the way previous rounds were played, Aleksib makes a solid read here by allowing himself into the mid setup while not sacrificing too much control towards B. This small gap on the map may look bad on the radar, but when the entire team is accounting for that gap already existing, it's not really as much of a problem as you may think. The next thing to note in this same round is that even though kills are now being exchanged across the map, Aleksib has all of his focus on a potential fake or lurk out upper. He isn't in a rush to over-rotate or sacrifice his position, but instead holds strong and patiently waits to get confirmation that bomb and numbers are on A before he makes his move. Being on an island is a term I've commonly heard over the years. It's the idea that as the anchor, you'll occasionally be left on your own, responsible for your bomb site with zero real rotation in play. It's a map-wide gamble, but it's one that's been relied on by many, many teams. This is something that you'll have to become comfortable with, being under pressure from all angles, unsure of when and where the enemy might come from. You can see in this round how Aleksib is left considering so many different positions. He does a great job securing a little bit of info on the jump spot upper B before focusing all of his attention towards catwalk. Although the round is lost, this was a great display of what to do when isolated in the late round. This single demo from Aleksib showcased to us just one way of how you can anchor B, but the way that he does it is with high percentage play, always looking to secure a round win over a better stat line, and he has shown that he embodies what it means to be a dedicated B-side anchor. Don't think that you must play like Aleksib every round. The idea is that you must be able to turn that level of discipline on and off. Try to learn when you have to play around in a way that gives you the highest percentage of winning. I said I would showcase at least one setup, so go ahead and try this setup in your next game. The goal here is to deny any early aggression with a pre-molly and a nade. If in the event that someone does choose to walk up behind those, they're exposing themselves to a pop flash through the window, which will more than likely net me a free kill. If in the event that I don't see anybody, having this much upper B control can sometimes be crucial in making sure the rotations happen to A, especially when it comes to pugging. To avoid from keeping this video from going too long, let's summarize. You should be cycling your starts. Try different utility usage combos and see what works best for you. Stay disciplined. Make sure you're not over-peaking or getting too greedy for those eco frags. Try not to get isolated as the solo player and instead play for time. Rotate with caution. You should be the last person moving if you haven't spotted bomb. Gather information when it matters. And finally, you're on an island. Focus on yourself and making sure your job is done well first. Help your team second. A big special thank you to any and all those who made it this far. Please like the video if you enjoyed the content and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, as well as comment anything you think that I missed, or maybe you'd like to have me talk about a certain topic. I enjoy sharing in-game knowledge with all of you, and I hope you learned something of value. Till next time.